Now we'll move to kinds of correlation. We'll see that what are different kinds of correlation or what are different types of correlation. Now correlation can be divided into three categories on the basis of, first is on the basis of direction of change. On the basis of direction of change we have positive and negative correlation, two types. On the basis of change in proportion we have linear and non-linear correlation, and on the basis of number of variables we have simple, partial and multiple correlation, right? So we'll see the characteristic of all these three. First, basis of direction of change we have positive and negative. What is positive? Two variables move in same direction. When two variables are moving in the same direction, they are changing in the same direction, that is known as positive correlation. For example, price and supply. This I explained to you just now. Negative, two variables change in different direction. For example, price and demand. One is increasing, another is decreasing. When two variables change in different direction, or you can say opposite directions, then it is known as negative correlation. Then on the basis of change in proportion we have linear and non-linear. What is linear? Linear, two variables change in fixed proportion. Relationship will be indicated by a straight line. That means when we are plotting the points or dots on a graph paper on the basis of given data between two variables, then if the dots we are getting in a straight line, then it is known as linear correlation, right? That means both are changing in the fixed proportion. That is why all the dots are falling on a straight line. This is known as linear correlation. Non-linear, proportion of change in two variables is not fixed. They are not on a straight line because proportion of change in two variables is not fixed. When the dots are in a straight line, that is linear correlation. When the dots are not in a straight line, then it is known as non-linear correlation, right? So this is on the basis of proportion. Which is the third one? Basis of number of variables. Here we have three: simple, partial and multiple. What is simple? One variable is principal or independent and the other is secondary or dependent. In the simple type of correlation, it is on the basis of number of variables. One variable is independent, that is the principal variable, and it is independent, and the other variable is considered as secondary or dependent. Here the example is income and expenditure. You know that whenever income increases, then obviously the person will spend more on purchasing goods, or his total expenditure or personal expenditure will increase with the increase in income. So whenever the increase in income leads to increase in expenditure, this is one variable that is independent. Here income is independent and expenditure is dependent. This is simple correlation. That means one variable is independent, income, but the other expenditure is dependent on income. So other variable is dependent. This is known as simple correlation. Second is partial. Effect of two variables is studied and other variables are assumed to be constant. In the partial relationship, we are just looking at the effect of change between two variables, and effect of two variables is studied and the other variables are assumed to be constant. Let me give you an example. As I say, when price increases, demand decreases, right? Here it means that price of one particular commodity increases and demand for that particular commodity decreases. But there are other factors also which affect the demand, right? Maybe income of a person, if income increases, then even if the price is increasing, person will may demand the same. Same way, price of other goods also affects demand for that particular good. So in this way, there are many other factors also which affect the demand, not only the price of that commodity only. But when we are talking about partial correlation, then effect of two variables is studied and other variables are assumed to be constant. That means we are just talking about two variables, that is price and demand of same commodity, but we are assuming that other factors which may affect demand, they are constant or they are not changing. So this is known as partial correlation. That means we are assuming other factors to be constant and we are just considering only two factors as variable, right? Third is multiple. Relationship among three or more than three variables are studied. As it is a multiple correlation, so it studies the relationship between three or more than three variables simultaneously. For example, effect of rainfall, manure, irrigation, etc. on the production of wheat. When we are talking about wheat production in a particular year, then we are talking about the effect of rainfall in a particular year, how much manure you have used, or the irrigation facilities what are being provided to the farmers. So all these factors are taken into consideration and then we see the relation of wheat production. Wheat production in relation to the factors. These variables, these three, maybe three variables or maybe more than three. So when a particular study is made about the correlation between three and more than three variables, that is known as multiple correlation, right? So you have followed all these types of correlation. These are main types.